Rodrigo, thank you so much for being here. Let's start with the basics.
Yep.
What does SambaNova do?
Yeah, so we are living in this world where AI is all over the place, and so you think about chips with Nvidia and OpenAI and ChatGPT. Those are consumer products that people are now able to touch. For the enterprise, we do the equivalent. We do everything from chips all the way to the model and everything in between.
It's all about the ecosystem, right? We've talked about this. That's why Nvidia is so important. It doesn't just have the chips, it has the software, and all of it works together. Is that similar to the ecosystem you're creating?
And you think one of the biggest challenges that companies have these days as we move AI into the enterprise is talent, right? So sure, we're hunting for chips because there's a shortage in chips, but equally, there's a talent shortage on the machine learning expertise side. And so if you think about kind of being able to actually deploy these complex models into these enterprises, you have to have somebody that can help you take these chips, turn it into value, and deploy it broadly.
And that's data scientists, right?
That's right. Data scientists, machine learning experts, people who can train these large models so that they can actually produce the right results.
So how many of those do you have on staff?
We have these brightest PhDs. My co-founders are professors at Stanford. We have McCarthy Genius. We have professors that have been at Stanford for a long, long time. And a lot of it just has to do with understanding where things are going and picking the right models to do the right types of things. And so, we've been very specific about enterprise use cases. That's what SambaNova does. We focus on the enterprise. And so we want to make sure that when we actually go out and we produce the types of models that enterprises can use quickly, deploy broadly, and then produce the right results.
Is it a numbers game then when you talk about talent? Are the most promising artificial intelligence companies, do they have a staff, whether that's contractor or within? Is that important too?
Well, the largest companies these days have hundreds, if not thousands, of machine learning experts. The largest companies, but AI is going to be pervasive. It's going to be for every business, every industry, every single company. And so what they need to do is figure out, well, if I'm not able to attract thousands of machine learning experts, then what do I do? Right? And so what SambaNova is giving is a full stack platform that allows these companies to get a hot start on it so that all of that work that otherwise you'd have to hire people for, we actually give you the expertise in a box so that the remaining 10% you can then supplement in order to actually create that model for you.
So how many engineers, data scientists do you guys employ?
So we have hundreds of engineers that are just focused on building these models for our clients and not just building the right model, but then optimizing on the hardware as well. As you know, chips, we're all hunting for chips these days. It's hard to find these chips, and so making use of every single chip that exists.
You brought one with you.
This is what it's about. We're hunting. This is what the world's all fighting for. This is a chip that SambaNova produces. We build our own custom chip, focus on large language models. So today we're actually announcing SN40L. This is our latest device that allows us to focus on enterprise language models so that we can actually produce these enterprise quality models for companies.
And you're saying that one of those is equivalent to an Nvidia H100, the most sort of famous popular chip on the market right now for AI applications.
That's right. So as you know, Nvidia, you have to train, you have to fine tune. And today with this chip, we can actually take any language model, train them, fine tune them, scale them really big. We're really proud of the fact that with our systems, we can train these trillion parameter models, which is effectively what you see with ChatGPT and GPT-4. And companies want something large. They want to be able to actually produce the best results out there. And in the world of AI, bigger is better.
So who's using that chip right now?
Today we're just announcing this right now. This is our 4th generation product. And so if you look at all the generations that we shipped so far.
Who's using the 3rd generation?
You have the 3rd generation. We have the US government, incredibly supportive. They do all sorts of different things with it. We have banks that are using it in Europe, in Asia. And so we're really, really proud of being able to deploy these products in real commercial applications.
Who do you expect is going to use those? Let me ask you sort of at the most basic level, can the cloud infrastructure players, the hyperscalers, can they switch their Nvidia chips out for that today?
Absolutely. This is a language model specific chip. And so if you're thinking about these GPT type of models that everyone's now learned to use, you can take any of those models and run it on this. But here's what we're really, really excited by. Enterprise use cases have higher level of security, higher level of data privacy, and higher level of accuracy requirements that this chip is now able to deliver. that you don't have to do all of that work yourself on top of the GPU, that we're able to provide that level of security, privacy, and data and accuracy on a device that's made for enterprise.
How much does that cost versus an Nvidia chip that's in short supply?
You know, we're very competitive when it comes to cost. I mean, our model here is actually not just to deliver the hardware, but what we're trying to do is deliver the hardware with the models as a subscription. And so we're changing the way that customers have to engage with this instead of acquiring the hardware.
Are you talking about the inference level, right? That's the software level on top. Is that you don't necessarily, it's something we've talked about. You don't necessarily need the compute power anymore. That's in place, and you're trying to build on top of this. So how does that fit into the inference phase of artificial intelligence,
Absolutely.
generative AI?
There are three things that people are talking about. They're talking about training and inferencing. And inferencing, you put it on top as people use it. But here's one of the things that's really important for businesses that we're able to do with this on top of the just general inferencing, which is this ability to continuously fine-tune and then inference. In business, recency matters. Yesterday's data is more important than last year's data. And so today, if you have a model that was trained 2 years ago, it doesn't inference properly.
Got it.
You hear of these words called hallucinations and things like that, where it's producing the wrong results. Well, with real-time fine-tuning, where you're actually training the model constantly and then inferencing on the same device, now you get the recency aspect of it. That, you know, I'm talking to a model that understands the data from today, from yesterday, or recent, versus a model that was trained 2 years ago.
Got it. So you're announcing this chip today, but obviously you've done research on the back end, gauged customer interest. Are any of the hyperscalers, have they expressed interest to use this chip?
You know, we're working with a number of these folks as far as trying to figure out how to actually balance what they're doing with it, which is I mean, Nvidia's done a tremendous job actually creating broad use for its chips. And this chip is actually opening up certain use cases that for some people who are actually very committed to building large language models, it's going to be significantly better than if you just go out and try to hunt down GPUs. And so for those use cases where you're building very, very large models, we're very proud of the fact that we have a device that's actually made exactly for those use cases.
How quickly do you think you're going to be able to scale? When are you going to be making money off of this chip?
Well, I mean, we're shipping as part of this announcement, and so you can come and engage immediately, and then we'll broadly ship this to other continents starting November. And so we're really excited about the fact that we can get these things in the hands of customers very, very quickly, and they can actually see if they like it. You know, but it's something that we're excited to announce and be able to deploy very, very quickly to our customers.
So it's fourth generation, 3 generations before. You mentioned the U.S. government as one of your customers.
Yes.
Can you name any others for us? Who else is using and interested in this kind of alternative chip?
You know, in Europe, we have OTP Bank in Europe. You know, as you know, one of the largest banks is Hungary, and so they've been actually deploying these things as one of the customers. We have customers in Asia. You know, SoftBank has been our investor as well as our customers, and so they've been able to actually help us deploy our technology in a number of different places in Japan.
SoftBank is an investor in SambaNova?
Yes, SoftBank.
When did they invest? Go ahead.
Yeah, so in 2021, we actually raised $678 million Series D, and that was led by SoftBank. In that round, Temasek and GIC came in, along with, you know, BlackRock was already a Series C investor, Google, Intel Capital, you know, they've always been longtime investors of the company.
You know, we cover SoftBank closely, and Masa-san, he was just on TV talking about the ARM IPO, and he says that his mission is artificial intelligence. He's starting to focus on generative AI.
Yes.
Is he involved? Do you talk to him often?
You know, I don't talk to him directly that often, but when we did the round in 2021, he was involved, and you know, we were super excited about him and his team being able to help us grow. You know, very quickly we've been able to enter certain markets that they're just very, very well respected in, and so really, really happy with the partnership that SoftBank's been able to actually help with us.
You're a private company, so you don't make your financials known,
Right.
But is there any color you can give us? Are you guys earning revenue at this point?
You know, absolutely. You know, we're running revenue, have been for a couple of years. You know, and so obviously we're investing and continuing to grow. And so, but with over the last 12 months or so, we've seen a big jump. Thank you to kind of you know, the world really understanding what GPT can do. But we're seeing multiple jumps in terms of interest and growth. And so we're excited to lean heavily into that.
What about profitability? You've said that you guys are in growth mode. Does that mean that profitability sort of waits in this sort of rush for generative AI? We've spoken to a number of companies as well that claim to have the chips that will displace Nvidia or can replace
Right.
Nvidia.
Right. Yeah. No. Look. Yeah. We raised 1.1 billion in the first 3 years of the company, and we use it as a tool to really help us grow and attack certain markets. And so we're going to continue to invest. As we said, we have revenue coming in, and we're able to use that to apply towards our products. We're in 3 continents today. We're deployed in production in three different continents, and excited to lean hard. This is the world. The world wants chips. The world wants models, and we have everything in between. And so for companies that are thinking about their strategy, how do I actually get into this game, we can give you a hot start.
Private markets are good for AI companies right now.
Yeah.
Are you thinking of raising more money? Do you need to?
We don't need to raise more money, but there's always a lot of interest about getting into the space and how to actually grow more aggressively. And so we're always open-minded about that type of opportunity. But look, we're in a great position. We've got great investors, as I mentioned before, and we're just really happy about the support we're getting from them, as well as the ability to actually get real customers that are actually buying our products and deploying in production.
Great. And one final question. How do you describe, and what is pervasive AI? Excuse me. What is pervasive AI? Explain it to me. Like, I don't know anything about it.
Pervasive AI, we're thinking about this in terms of corporations deploying AI everywhere, pervasively. The days of talking about GPT, we argue about, is it 7B, 13? Those are very technical terms. But when you talk about industry and business, they want to apply AI into their business workflows. AI is going to touch everything you do, from HR to legal to finance, your product development to software development. It's going to touch everything we do. Now, the question is, how do you actually create a flow so that you can transform your business from before AI to post? And so our product is really thinking about how to deploy pervasively, so you address all the security concerns, data privacy concerns, and actually make sure that you can actually deploy everywhere.
And so that's something we have seen and been talking about for a number of years. Is that different than generative AI? Is generative AI going to be pervasive? Can you describe it as such?
Yeah, generative AI to me is still a technology-focused view of it. We can take a chip like this, run some models, and generate content. Now, as we think about pervasiveness, is how to generate that content so that it addresses the specific needs of all these different functions that companies have. One of the things I talk about is thinking about this in terms of assets and tools. A tool is something where you buy to improve cost, improve efficiency. An asset is something where you're increasing value year after year. And so with AI, when we're thinking about pervasiveness, we're trying to create models that allow your company to increase its value year after year after year.
Got it. And then I said last question, but this is actually the final last question. We've talked to so many different AI companies recently, and it feels like there's a lot of overlap. Like I said, you're not the first one who said we have a chip that's going to compete with Nvidia's or offer, a good substitute. There's also a lot of generative AI companies that will do your marketing for you.
Right.
Do you think we're in a bubble?
There's a lot of excitement out there, and you see the winners, companies like Nvidia, who are $1 trillion company really supporting this market. And yet you go and talk to the Global 2000, you talk to the CEOs, CIOs, and you ask them, what % of your daily workflow is on AI? Just getting started. And as we know, enterprise powers the global economy. And so I think AI is just getting started as these companies are on this race, right? They're on this race to bring more products and more services. And AI is going to be a big part of that. And so I think we're just getting started. And bubble or not, I think the market is heating up on the enterprise side. We've gone from consumer now to enterprise. And I think we're going to see a lot of activity in the space.
Great. Well, that's a good place to end it. Rodrigo, thank you.
All right, great. Thanks so much.